TV was already on, but the house had been abandoned for years. I had explored enough abandoned houses to know the difference between an empty place and a place that only looked empty. Empty houses feel dead. This one didn't. This one felt like somebody had just stepped into the next room and was waiting for me to notice. I found the house through an old urban exploring forum. People online called it the Weller House. It sat off a back road in rural Ohio, hidden behind dead trees and a broken fence. Most posts about it were the same kind of stuff you always see. People claiming they heard voices. People saying a family disappeared there. People saying don't go after dark. I didn't believe most of it. After a few years of filming abandoned places, you learn that half the scary stories are made up to keep other explorers away. So, I went alone. I got there in the late afternoon, when the sky had that dull gray color that makes everything look colder than it is. The house was 2 stories, white paint peeling off the wood, with most of the downstairs windows boarded up. The front porch sagged in the middle. A rusted wind chime hung near the door, but there was no wind. It didn't move once. The first weird thing I noticed was the grass. Most of the yard was overgrown, but near the front steps, the grass was pressed flat, like someone had been walking there recently. I told myself it was probably animals or other explorers. That's what you do when something feels wrong too early. You give it a normal reason so you don't have to turn back. The front door was already open, not wide open, just enough for me to slide through sideways. The second I stepped inside, I smelled food. Not mold, not old wood, food. Warm food. It was faint, but it was there, like soup or cooked meat. I stopped in the hallway and listened. The house was quiet. No voices, no footsteps, no TV, nothing. I turned on my camera and started filming. At first, it looked like every other abandoned house. Old family pictures on the wall, dust on the floor, a jacket hanging by the stairs. But the dust was strange. In some areas, it was thick. In others, it had been disturbed. The hallway had marks through it, like someone had dragged their feet recently. The living room was almost untouched. A couch, a small table, an old box television in the corner. The screen was black. I filmed it and made some stupid comment about it, looking like the 90s never ended. Then I moved into the kitchen. That's where I found the bowl. It was sitting on the counter. A plain white bowl. Steam rising from it. I didn't say anything for a few seconds. I just stood there, with the camera pointed at it. The smell was stronger now. Chicken soup. There was also half a sandwich on a plate beside it. The bread looked fresh, not stale, not dry, fresh. My first thought was squatters. That scared me more than ghosts. A ghost can't hit you over the head. A person can. I called out, "Hello? Anybody here?" No answer. Then the TV turned on in the living room, just static, low volume. A soft white hiss. I turned so fast the camera blurred. The TV had been off when I passed it. I know it had. Now it was glowing in the corner of the room, lighting the walls with that cold, flickering light. I walked toward it slowly. The remote was sitting on the table, covered in dust. No clean finger marks on it, no fresh batteries nearby. The TV just kept hissing. Then the rocking chair beside it moved. Not a big dramatic movement, just one tiny shift. Forward. Back. Forward, like someone had just stood up from it. I felt my mouth go dry. That was when I should have left. But when you're filming, a stupid part of your brain keeps saying, "Get the shot. Just another minute. Just prove it." Then upstairs, a floorboard creaked. One step, then another. Slow. Heavy. Not random house noises. Footsteps. I backed toward the front door, keeping the camera pointed up the stairs. The upstairs hallway was dark. At the end of it, a door opened. Very slowly. The kind of slow that feels deliberate. I couldn't see inside the room, just blackness. Then a woman's voice came from upstairs, calm, almost annoyed. "Dinner's getting cold." I ran. I don't remember deciding to run. My body just did it. I hit the door shoulder first and nearly fell off the porch. When I looked back, there was someone standing in the upstairs window. Tall. Still. Too far back from the glass for me to see a face, but I knew it was looking at me. That night, I reviewed the footage at home. For the first few minutes, it looked exactly how I remembered. The hallway, the pictures, the living room. Then, I got to the kitchen. The bowl was there. The sandwich was there. But there was no steam. Not even a little. In real life, I saw steam. On camera, the food looked cold. I kept watching. When I called out, "Anybody here?" I heard something on the audio I hadn't noticed inside the house. A whisper, very close to the camera. Yes, I replayed it over and over. Then I noticed the microwave behind me. Its black glass door had caught my reflection. And behind my reflection, in the kitchen doorway, someone was standing. Tall, thin, head tilted sideways, watching me. But that wasn't the worst part. The figure wasn't behind me. The angle was wrong. It was standing between me and the exit. I had walked right past it, and I never saw a thing. My grandmother locked the basement from the outside, but something kept knocking from inside. My grandmother's house was the kind of place everyone in the family talked about, only when she wasn't in the room. Nobody called it haunted. They were too practical for that. They just said it felt bad. I grew up visiting that house a few times a year, and even as a kid, I hated it. The rooms were too dark. The hallway was too narrow. The air always smelled like dust and old flowers. But the worst part was the basement door. It was at the end of the kitchen hallway. Plain brown wood. 4 locks. A chain wrapped around the handle. And a chair pushed against it, even though it opened outward. When I was little, I asked my grandmother why it had so many locks. She didn't look at me when she answered. She just said, "There's nothing down there worth finding." That was the only answer she ever gave. Years later, she passed away, and my mother asked me to help clean out the house before it was sold. I didn't want to go back. But I needed the money, and honestly, I thought I was too old to still be scared of a basement door. The house looked worse than I remembered. The porch boards were soft. The windows were cloudy with dirt. Inside, everything felt stale, like the air had been trapped there for years. I spent most of the afternoon boxing up dishes, old clothes, and framed photos. By evening, rain started hitting the windows. That heavy kind of rain that makes a house sound bigger than it is. Around 7, I walked into the kitchen and saw the basement door. The chain was gone. 3 of the locks were missing. Only 1 old lock hung from the latch. I stood there, staring at it. My grandmother would never have taken those locks off, not willingly, not even near the end. I called my uncle and asked if he had been in the basement. He didn't answer right away. Then he said, "Don't open that door." His voice sounded different, flat, serious. I asked why everyone acted so weird about the basement. He sighed and told me something I had never heard before. After my grandfather disappeared, my grandmother started hearing knocking from the basement. 3 knocks. Every night. Same time. 2 in the morning. The family thought grief was messing with her. Then one night, my uncle stayed over. He heard it too. 3 slow knocks from the other side of that door. When he tried to open it, my grandmother screamed at him so badly he never touched it again. I asked what happened to my grandfather. He said nobody knew. One winter night, neighbors heard shouting from the house. Police came. My grandfather was gone. No broken windows, no blood, no sign he had left. Just gone. After that, my grandmother locked the basement, and never let anyone down there again. My uncle told me one more time not to open it. Then he hung up. I wish that had been enough. But when you spend your whole life being told not to open one door, eventually, the door starts feeling like the only honest thing in the house. By midnight, I was still there. The rain hadn't stopped. The house made little settling sounds around me. Creaks, pipes, wind under the eaves. I kept looking at that basement door. Finally, I took the key from the kitchen drawer and opened the last lock. The door stuck at first. Then, it pulled open with a low wooden groan. Cold air rolled out. I don't mean chilly. I mean cold enough that I could feel it in my teeth. The stairs went down into total darkness. I turned on my flashlight and started walking. Every step sounded too loud. At the bottom, the basement was bigger than I expected. Concrete floor, old shelves. Boxes stacked against the walls. A workbench covered in rusted tools. Everything was covered in dust. Everything except the center of the room. There was a wooden chair there. Facing the wall, no dust on the seat. Scratch marks around the legs, like it had been dragged back and forth for years. I walked closer. On the wall in front of the chair were lines carved into the wood paneling. Small lines. Hundreds of them, like tally marks. Then I heard it. 3 knocks. From upstairs, from the basement door. I stopped breathing. Knock, knock, knock. I turned and ran up the stairs. The basement door was shut. I had left it wide open. I grabbed the handle. It wouldn't move. Something was holding it closed from the kitchen side. I started yelling. Hello? Who's there? No answer. Then I heard breathing right outside the door. Slow. Wet, like someone's mouth was almost touching the wood. I backed down 1 step, then a voice whispered from the other side. My grandmother's voice. Don't let it upstairs. I screamed and slammed my shoulder into the door. It flew open. The kitchen was empty. The chair that had been pushed against the door when I was a kid was back. Sitting in the hallway, facing me, I ran out of the house and slept in my car at a gas station. The next morning, my uncle met me there. He looked older than I remembered. I told him everything. He didn't call me crazy. He just asked, "Did you move the chair?" I said no. He wouldn't go into the basement with me. So I went down alone, with him standing at the top of the stairs. The chair in the basement was gone. The tally marks were gone too, like the wall had never been touched. But the inside of the basement door had fresh scratches on it. 4 words carved deep into the wood. You opened it again. I didn't see anyone in that abandoned house until I watched my footage later. I started my horror channel when I was in college. At first, it was all cheap stuff, creepy music, fake ghost stories, over-edited thumbnails, the kind of content I thought people wanted. But the videos that actually worked were the real abandoned house explorations. No acting, no fake blood. Just me, a flashlight, and some old house everyone in town avoided. The house on Briar Road came from a subscriber. He sent me the address and said, "Go before they tear it down." That was it. No long backstory, no dramatic warning, just an address. I searched it online and found almost nothing. One old article from the late 90s about a family tragedy. A few blurry photos, some comments saying the place was cursed. Nothing solid. Honestly, it looked boring. Small yellow house, overgrown yard, broken front window, but boring houses are the ones that stick with you. Because they don't feel like movie sets. They feel like somebody's life stopped in the middle of a normal day. I got there just before sunset. The street was quiet. Too quiet for a neighborhood. There were houses nearby, but nobody was outside. No kids. No dogs barking. No cars passing. It felt like everyone knew not to look toward the end of the road. The Briar Road house sat behind a chain link fence with the gate hanging open. The front door was cracked. I filmed my intro on the porch and joked that if I disappeared, at least the footage better get views. It was a dumb joke. I hate that it's still on the original file. Inside, the air was freezing, not outdoor cold, different cold, like walking into a refrigerator that had been unplugged for years but somehow still worked. The first floor was mostly empty. Old couch, stacks of newspapers, a dining table with one chair missing. Nothing too strange, but upstairs felt wrong immediately. Every room looked unfinished. A closet half full of clothes, a cup beside a bed, a family photo face down on the carpet. The main bedroom had a bed that was still made. That bothered me. People leave messes behind when they run. They don't smooth blankets. They don't fold corners. I kept filming, talking quietly to the camera, trying to sound calm. Then I reached the hallway mirror. It was tall, old, and cracked down the middle. When I passed it, I thought I saw movement behind me. Just a little shift in the reflection. I turned around fast. Nothing. Empty hallway. Empty doorway. I laughed at myself and said something like, "Okay, that got me." But after that, I couldn't relax. Every time I stepped into a room, I felt like someone had just stepped out. Every time I turned, I expected to catch someone standing there. About 20 minutes in, I heard a door creak downstairs. I stopped talking. The audio goes completely silent there, except for my breathing. Then came footsteps. Slow steps across the first floor. I whispered, "Hello?" The footsteps stopped. Then there was one loud bang from downstairs, like a door had been slammed shut. That was enough for me. I went down fast, trying not to fall. The front door was still open. No one was inside. No one I could see. I left right after that. I remember feeling embarrassed on the drive home. I thought I had overreacted. I thought the video would be useless. Then I checked the footage. The hallway mirror scene came up first. I almost skipped past it. Then I saw the figure, in the mirror, behind me, standing in the bedroom doorway. Tall, pale, completely still. I paused the video. My hands went cold, because I knew that doorway. I had turned toward it while I was there, more than once. There had been nobody standing there. But in the mirror, there was. I zoomed in frame by frame. The figure didn't move like a person. It didn't sway. It didn't breathe. It just stood there, head slightly tilted, watching the back of my neck. The clip lasted almost 4 minutes. And through the whole thing, the figure stayed in the doorway. At least that's what I thought at first. Then my friend Marcus came over to watch it with me. He didn't say anything for a long time. Then he leaned closer to the screen and said, "Play it again." I did. He pointed at the mirror. "Every time you look away from the mirror, it gets closer." I told him no. I told him that was impossible. Then we watched it again. He was right. At first, the figure was deep in the doorway. Then after I turned toward the bedroom and back, it was one step closer. Then after I looked down at the floor, closer again. Every time my eyes left the mirror, it moved. Only when I wasn't looking. By the end of the clip, it was directly behind me. Close enough that its face was almost beside my shoulder. But in the real hallway, there was nothing. Only in the mirror. I deleted the upload. I didn't post anything for almost a month. 2 nights later, I woke up in my apartment around 3 in the morning. The room was freezing. I could see my breath. Across from my bed, my closet mirror looked black in the dark. I stared at it for a few seconds. Then, I saw movement behind me. A tall, pale shape, standing at the edge of my bed, head tilted slightly sideways. I turned on the lamp. Nothing was there. But in the mirror, for one final second before the light filled the room, it was smiling.